Hi, and welcome to
Hey.
the latest Pretzels and Tea podcast. We don't actually have that many news topics for you today, but what we definitely have lots to talk about, just not that many, not that much variety. So we'll start introducing our guest. We have, introduce yourself.
My name is Mashoxy.
Cool. And what do you do on the internet?
Play games and leave snarky comments.
Perfect. Just the person we're looking for. Alright. So we'll start off. I think I know there's been the big topic that happened this week, but I think I'm going to leave that till the end, or at least later on, so we can properly go into it once we're all warmed up. I guess I'll start with OP Earthquake. Hashtag OP Earthquake. That happened this week. It was a Twitter hashtag in order to which we were deliberately trying to get trending. It was the hashtag #RUBlocked, and it was to raise awareness that people are getting blocked through the blockbot who actually haven't done anything horrible. I mean, what do you guys think? Do you guys think it was a success? It was a good idea? Do you think it was a terrible idea? What do you guys think?
I think it was a good idea, but then there's the issue that we have to always make sure that we understand that no matter what we do, particular person is targeting Randy Harper is just going to do something else. Like obviously, she's starting a new block list in response to it, so it's effective. But we can't always ever forget that they just don't give a fuck. Like it doesn't matter what we do.
I feel that it was a good idea, and I think that it opened a lot of neutral people's eyes, especially people like Mark Kern.
Yes, absolutely.
People like him who are neutral and sort of they're not really sure which camp they fall into. To see that, well, a bunch of us are blocked and we can't open a discussion. We would like to, but they're not letting us. I think it's important for them to notice that and to realize that. And like you said, Randy Harper's response to this was to start another block. I'm not sure whether she's starting another block list or whether she's just adding the #RUBlocked hashtag to the block bot. Not the block bot, the block list that she already has. I don't know which way she's going to do it, but she's doing something along those lines.
Oh yeah, and that guy, Daniel, whatever, he's asking if he wants me to join the stream. Should I just comment the link to the Hangout?
Yeah, sure. Just throw him the link and he can come on.
Right.
Oh, him. Okay.
Yeah, or Alejandro, whatever.
Sorry, we had a bit of a delay with the guests, so we're making it up as we go along, people. We're doing it live.
Fuck it!
Fuck it, we'll do it live, as we always do here. We are the most unprofessional of people. So yeah, I think it went well. It did trend in the US. It did not trend worldwide, but it did get over. I think what was the last number? I think it was like 60,000 tweets in a day. It's insane numbers. Whoever tweeted that out, any people listening who tweeted it out, give yourself a pat on the back. You did good work out there. You did a good job. Done good. Give yourself a doggy treat or something. I don't know. So yeah, that went well. It was a shame it didn't trend worldwide, but it did trend in the US. So top notch to that. I hope it continues, and I hope we keep the #RUBlocked hashtag going. What do you guys think? Do you think it's a thing we should keep going? Do you think we should move on from it and start something new? I mean, what do you guys think?
Well, coming back to it can always be a good thing. Something I would encourage would be to some devs actually manage to work where they work for a long time without noticing any of this. So finding devs and tweeting the hashtag at them with of course the pictures from the folder would be a good idea.
Yes, definitely. That would be a fantastic idea. And at the very least, it would open people's eyes to, this is some bullshit that's going on.
Yeah, the opening the eyes part is very important because the people who are pro GG are in all likelihood are going to stay pro GG, and people who are anti are going to stay anti. The big game winner is the neutral. So like people like Mark Kern, who, like as I'm sure you guys noticed, when he first started getting in, he was like going on a tirade against everyone else. Like I wasn't sure if it was Brianna Wu he's going after or not, but he definitely was speaking very much in our favor. So we need to make sure we have plenty of neutrals joining us because they're honestly the people that matter the most.
I would definitely agree with that. We need to remember that the neutrals we're after like winning hearts and minds.
Yes,
as cliched as that fucking sounds. So yeah, I think keeping it civil, I think keeping the hashtag going is definitely a good thing. Again, spam those fucking images from the folder that Victor was on about. Because they are very factual, they are very useful, and they're easy to access. You know, they're easy to look at. You know exactly what's going on. You know exactly what you're looking at. It's just a good, concise way of getting the information out there. All right. Does anyone else have any other thoughts on OP Earthquake? Any good news stories about that or anything? No.
No.
Okay then. I'll move on to. Not really a news story, but generally a bit of a PSA. There's been a worker at Riot. I can't remember her name, actually. It's going to irritate me now. Hang on a second, I'll just grab it. And she's been coming out saying some pretty horrible things, really.
Riot?
Yeah, from Riot Games.
Okay.
She's come out as anti, obviously. And she started going after Gamergaters in a pretty vitriolic way.
Surprise.
Her Twitter handle is at Archivist Geek. Now, I've said her Twitter handle. Please do not tweet at her. Do not go after her. That's not our job. But do make Riot aware of what's going on. I do think that's a good thing to do.
I'm not sure if Riot is going to do anything. Riot has already been caught having an extremely close relationship to Polygon.
Yeah, but you know, it's always worth trying. I mean,
they have a dog in this fight, or what is it? What's the saying called?
They have
a dog or a horse. It's pretty accurate. Yeah.
They have a horse in the race. That's generally how the phrase goes. I would agree that yeah, there is an element of that, but if we send the emails, someone at Riot, maybe one of the unpaid interns, as it were, will hear about it and sort of realize that maybe they're working for the wrong company. And,
I mean, that's how we win, really. Like that's the same thing with like Intel and stuff. Like before they started backing Sarkeesian, but really, it's the same thing. Like with this is kind of way out there, but like with drug cartels, you don't beat them by attacking directly. You attack their wallets, and that's what these people really care about is money.
Yeah, if they don't have interns or their interns viciously look for payment, one or two things are going to happen. They're either going to run out of free labor, which means a lot less income for them, or they're going to have to start paying their interns, in which case, once again, a lot less income. Or they're going to have to start paying them more anyway. I'm not saying that Riot don't pay their interns, I'm just saying that you have to pay them more.
Allegedly, of course.
Allegedly. I might be wrong. This is all just speculation. But, I mean, they are if they're affiliated with Polygon, they're affiliated with Gawker in my eyes. Next up, we have there's been, once again, another doxing attempt on Brianna Wu. And I don't know, I saw the tweet, I saw the address. I'm obviously not going to say it out loud because that would be a douchey thing to do. We are against doxing. But it just seemed very convenient. Just as she was sort of fading away and not doing anything. I mean, Victor, do you remember the last time we covered a Brianna Wu story on here? I can't.
No.
Yeah, she's been...
The enemy stops. I'm still waiting regarding Brianna Wu, because once the enemy completely backs away from Brianna Wu, we can use that and pull them back and say, no, 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 and show them all the stuff that happened. You've been propping Brianna Wu up the entire time, and making that person champion your cause, whatever that cause is.
I mean, I don't know what the
You
cause
are
is
not
either.
to withdraw from that commitment. That's what I'm waiting for.
You either apologise and admit you were wrong, or you or you just being a giant fucking hypocrite.
I mean, like, the most recent story I heard about her, and this is the only person I know who covers her, is the Ralph retort, and it was, like, about her being on an airplane, like, getting pissed off that some guy spilled soda on her or something, but, like, that whole series of tweets. Or I think one of her employees or something was going after her on Twitter. But even then, it's like, she's really kind of faded off the map. Like, nowadays, Gamergate, I just hear, like, I only hear about the stuff that we should be talking about, which is, Polygon and stuff. But, she's kind of faded away.
She has. I have a feeling, and this is just a gut feeling, I have no proof for it, but I have a feeling she instigated this dox, and I don't think that was her address that I saw. I have a feeling she just made it up to try and garner more public attention. Because she's fading away, and, if you're surrounded by controversy and that's the only reason you're popular, and you start to fade, and no one starts to pay attention to you anymore, you create more controversy around yourself to try and raise interest.
I mean, exactly. I mean, you look at, like, just screen caps or tweets and notice, like, as time has gone on, like, the retweets keep going down and down and down, and to the point where it's, like, maybe 2 retweets if she's lucky. So, obviously, she knows she's fading away, so it would make sense for her to make a phony doxing thing to happen. Look, I'm being attacked, it's just, okay.
Yeah, it's the same whole victimhood complex. Now, I'm not saying she wasn't doxed. It's just a gut feeling. It's just a theory that I have, and I have no evidence to back it up. Just so you guys are aware. And does anyone else have anything to say before we say goodbye to the literally who's?
I mean, I will say that, like, just to elaborate, if she was doxxed and it comes out proven that she was doxxed, we absolutely do condemn it. Like, it makes no sense to dox someone. It's just a dick thing to do. Same thing with the swatting shit. Like, just don't do that. It doesn't help anybody.
Agreed.
So that's not what's happening, is it? But the thing is, specifically Brianna Wu just has no there is no involvement. With Zoe Quinn. With Zoe Quinn was involved from the start. Well, not quite from the start, as we've seen with the smoking gun, but very far back. And Randy Harper has been in a lot of shit as well. They're not going away so quickly.
Well, one can dream.
Yeah, as long as we don't lose sight of things, and we'll still be fine, and they won't.
As long as we don't lose sight, as long as we don't let the drama train take us off track. Okay, the next thing we have here is the legal stuff, which is Victor's sort of area of the woods. We had a legal document come out recently that basically states that a scientific document that states that games don't cause sexism, and a resurgence of an illegal document that says that games don't cause violence, if I remember correctly.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
That's a few weeks old, but it's necessary to repeat it now, because the antis are backing off. They are backpedaling. You see people like There are multiple people who suddenly claim games had never caused sexism, and they had never claimed it.
Yes. They are claiming instead that games reinforced sexism rather than caused sexism, which is such bullshit. It's blatantly backpedaling.
Yep. And they're backpedaling for a reason. They've been caught with their pants down. They've been putting out so many articles, all of which have been circulated. The internet remembers.
Yes, definitely. And that's what I would say we do in response to this backpedaling. Is all those screen caps you have of people's tweets saying that games cause sexism, all the screen caps you have saying that all gamers are sexist, all those tweets that you screen capped of them saying that, send them back to them. Like if you have a tweet of Arthur Chu saying that games cause sexism, send that shit to Arthur Chu when he says, "Well, I never said that."
Not just that. It would probably be better if you circulated them, if you recirculated everything you have.
Yeah, treat them like
Everything you
Pokemon
have,
cards. Yeah.
Articles, tweets, everything. Recirculate it, put it into 8chan posts, put it into and circulate them on all the platforms.
Yeah, circulate them, post it back at them, make sure that they are nailed to the wall for the shit that they said previously, unless they come out and said, you know what, I was wrong, and I admit that I was wrong, because if they do that, then okay, everyone makes a mistake every now and again, but if they're refusing to claim that they never said that video games cause sexism, we can pin them to the wall for that. We can show them, no, that's exactly what you were saying. Now you understand why we were calling you fucking idiots.
Yeah, I mean, it goes without saying that if any one of them ever apologizes and says they're completely wrong about everything, that doesn't mean that after they do it, we're still going to attack them. It's the same thing with when some of these sites review their ethics policy. Once they do all that stuff, it's not like we're not going to keep attacking their advertisers and stuff. We move on to the next target. This isn't a grudge thing.
I don't like
for some people it is.
For some people it is.
So quick.
Yeah. We should wait to see if they actually act upon those ethics.
That is very true.
Yeah.
You don't understand. You have to with this thing. You need to keep in mind that they've been touting this on conventions. They've been using it as the main topic for panels. They've been and of a lot of what influence and what pressure they enact on publishers and developers solely stems from that refuted argument.
So we can go back and we can pin this and say to the convention organisers, like, hey, you had panels based on scientific inaccuracies that you knew were inaccurate, yet you went ahead and did it anyway.
Yes, you know that they've lost something very important.
They lost the narrative.
And that is, well, their narrative, yes, but with their narrative, they lost something much more, and that is, the question why they're there has always been in the room, and now they don't have a reason to be there. Their right to exist has been revoked years ago. So, yes, they can actually, a lot of them can actually just fuck off, pretty much.
I mean, he's not wrong. That is really what the case is. Because if you lose your sense to exist, you have no reason to be there. So.
Yep, that's how that works.
Because there are actual people, there are even people who not just are in companies, who are actual devs. But not just that, they bully their way into being devs. And some of those actually admitted themselves that they are only in it for the sockjus. They don't like games. They're not interested in games.
Yeah. I doubt most of them have ever even played a video game, honestly. And it is probably an accurate assessment.
Let's
not go so far, but they definitely don't have an interest in them.
No, they're definitely not interested in gaming culture. And I think that's the main difference is, yeah, people play games. People play games on their iPhones. People play games, I think this sort of came out saying that, what was it, 70% or 80%, some ludicrously high percentage of people play video games. But there's a difference between that and being involved in gaming culture. And there's a difference between playing games and playing mainstream video games. You can go out and you can watch a YouTube video, but it's not the same as sitting down and watching Schindler's List.
That's an interesting comparison.
They want that to be the same. That's their goal, essentially.
Yeah. Well, I was making the comparison with YouTube and Schindler's List. YouTube's a very casual way of watching videos, but you're not a movie buff for watching crappy YouTube videos. Not to say crappy YouTube videos are bad. Some of them are great, but you're not a movie buff. On the other hand, watching Schindler's List and appreciating it and watching shit tons of films like that makes you a movie buff.
That's true.
Same way, at least in my opinion, the same way, some people play casual games on their phone. They're not gamers because, they're not in the gaming culture. I think that's where the line needs to be drawn.
So what you're saying is like the line needs to be drawn. Someone's playing Candy Crush on their phone as opposed to someone who plays, I don't know, let's say Fallout and it goes to conventions or things like that. They're involved in the culture as well as the game.
I'd say if they're they don't even need to go to conventions. It's just they know the culture exists and they like the culture of video games. They don't like. There are gamers out there who play Candy Crush on their phone, but they will also play other games. You're not a movie buff just for watching one good film. You're a movie buff for watching a shit ton of good films, knowing the directors, knowing the actors, knowing the methods of shooting and stuff like that. So just go on.
So it's possible to be a quote-unquote casual gamer, but also still be into the gaming culture. Because I often hear that distinction, too, of being a casual gamer as opposed to being a quote-unquote real gamer.
Yeah, the term casual gamer to me conjures up images of people playing fitness games on the Wii U and liking Nintendo. That doesn't necessarily mean you're not a gamer, it just means you're not into a certain area of the gaming culture, which is fine. But yeah, that's just my own little rant that I decided to go on, that I decided to put you guys through, so I'll deal with it.
It's fine.
Okay. Well, that was an interesting little thing we had there. But yeah, we now have conclusive proof that video games don't cause sexism and conclusive proof that video games don't cause violence. So if we can just sort of get them both together and throw them out there and circulate them everywhere, maybe people will finally start to fudging listen to facts.
I can only hope that if we continue to circulate it, like 20 years down the road, we won't have another one of these instances where they say, again, there's some minor group that says it causes sexism or racism, whatever. Because even the studies against violence in video games have existed for a while, but it just seems like the people who say that they do cause violence kind of push it to the back of the room. They don't acknowledge it, and you have to keep going with new studies.
Did you notice, by the way? I wonder if you guys noticed this. They started off calling us misogynists, but now we've leveled up. They've stopped at least they stopped calling me a misogynist. They've started calling me a transphobe. They've leveled me up.
Yeah.
I'm now a transphobe now. Just so you guys know.
Level up.
Level up.
I think that they're the transphobe. It goes back to like a lot of the people on the other side claiming that Gamergate is a conservative movement, or it's full of people who are conservative, which is not true at all. There are people who are conservative, but I've met people of all different types of the political spectrum as well as racial spectrum.
Well, they did a political compass for a majority of Gamergate, and we came out as mostly left-leaning.
Right.
Like, there's your narrative gone. Flying out the window.
That whole conservative thing is just an age-old thing that nobody should take seriously at this time, because it's all extreme groups use that. The proponents of Sharia law use it. It's the same argument, you're just afraid of change. Anarchists use it, communists use it, and yes, NatSoc uses it as well. It's the same argument all these groups use.
The only people who don't use it are actual conservatives.
Our system can be good. You're just afraid of it. That's the argument.
Which is funny, because if that's how the system is, then those people are, by definition, the conservatives. For example, if you have the idea that, I don't know, I'm going to pluck a random idea out the air, rape culture is a thing. The people who are arguing that it isn't a thing are not the conservatives. I just thought I'd go for the controversial one because, we are controversial.
As soon as you said rape culture, I was just like, oh god, here we go.
Here we go.
I could just hear Tom sharpening their pitchforks.
if you take that as the standard, then everyone is a conservative. Because
Yeah.
a social justice warrior is a conservative to every other.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they are.
group.
So.
Because they're afraid of Sharia law. They're afraid of a complete socialist state. They're afraid of a white supremacist hegemony. They're afraid of a complete stateless society.
They're afraid
And-
of a meritocracy.
Yeah, of that they're afraid as well. That's the thing.
They're fairly
But,
conservative when you look at it.
That argument. According to that argument, everyone is a conservative.
Oh yeah, that argument and also the whole stigma behind calling someone a conservative used as a negative, I take an issue with, because wanting things to change isn't necessarily a bad thing. Don't fix what ain't broken. And I think it comes down to that.
That sounds mighty conservative.
I mean, don't get me wrong. One of the things that I've always liked about Gamergate was there are people in here that if I did get into a political discussion with, fists would soon follow. But when it comes to like playing games and stuff, I can get along completely. That's what really appeals to me a lot about it.
Yeah, man.
So, it is a meritocracy. I don't care what your political affiliation is. I don't care what's between your legs. I just care that you can play the game well, or at least shoot the shit and have fun. That's all I care about.
Yeah.
That's all I should care about.
That's all. Yeah, that's all people in the gaming community should care about. Is, can you kill that goblin before it kills me? That's as far as your obligation goes.
Just kill that fucker before he steals my money. God damn it.
That's it. Just don't
Yeah.
say that around Gorka. They'll say that we promote violence.
Oh. Because goblins have a lobby now, apparently. Okay.
Oh yeah, I wonder if that's going to be the next thing. If like we've had video games cause violence, we've had video games cause sexism. Is the next thing going to be video games cause speciesism? Like
I always think it would be like racism, but I feel like the racism thing kind of always gets thrown in. Like it's particularly with games like GTA or something. They always throw that in, but it's never been a primary focus as far as I remember.
You can, if speciesism is the next thing for them, if they're gonna promote otherkin and call everyone a transphobe who doesn't treat dogkin like dogs, then just throw the new Mr. Mythical video at them to trigger them.
Like, first off, if you're against goblins, first off, prove goblins exist, motherfucker. Then we'll talk. But they don't exist.
Well, it's about feelings. It's not about evidence.
Sorry. As soon as you say it's about feelings, I could just see a Tumblr land whale trying to yell at me in the street. I'm sorry. Go ahead. It's about feelings, not rights.
You say you sound like a Tumblr land whale. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
No, when you say feelings, like as soon as you say it's about feelings, I'm like, oh god, here we go. No. Just order your McDonald's and get the fuck out, please.
No, we don't have much. We don't have much tolerance for feelings.
No. No, we don't care about your feelings. We hate each and every one of you. Just so you guys know, we despise all of you. But yeah,
If you want a safe space, any Gamergate stream is the wrong place.
if you want a safe space, real life is the wrong place to be. Just go back into your fantasy world. It's probably safer there. You should try video games. They're fun and they're safe. So the last thing I've got, other than the big topic, is Polygon. A Polygon writer decided to steal a Lego game. It was a video game domain, wasn't it? Like it was.
Yeah, LegoDimensions.com or something.
Yeah, Dimensions.com. They nicked it from under Lego's nose, and I don't think that's going to go well for them. As far as I'm aware, that is illegal because they were. Pretty sure they would have been under NDA, wouldn't they?
If he was just an ordinary person and had obtained it through ordinary ways, it wouldn't be legal. But that's not what happened.
No, yeah, he had to redirect to his article to try to generate traffic and shit.
Well, it's because he knew what the name of the game was going to be in advance due to him being a journalist.
That's the point.
And I think As far as I'm aware, I could be wrong, but as far as I'm aware, the writer in question was under NDA, non-disclosure agreement, when he found out about the game, which would mean that if he went out to buy the domain and then, as we saw on Twitter, brag about it, he broke his NDA. He talked about the game, which he's not allowed to do, which is very illegal.
That's not going to go down for them. That's not going to go down well for them.
No,
especially if they promote stuff like crying sexism over Minecraft.
Oh,
and of course, Lego is gonna at some point notice. Wait, tolerating those people is not a good idea.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Lego's got an army of lawyers too, so that's not going to go well with them at all. They're like Disney.
One thing about the NDA I'd like to bring up that might make you guys laugh is when it comes to an NDA, the gaming industry is very protective about its IP, about what it's doing, because if you're doing something, chances are if it gets out, someone else is going to try and do it before you and try and do it better. You see that a lot in the indie games where something goes on early access and it's been in early access for ages, and then some new guy makes the exact same game and finishes it. If word of a certain game gets out there, someone else is going to try and steal it. So when it comes to Lego Dimensions, that NDA break, what's going to happen is other industries, other gaming companies are going to look at that and say, well, I'm about to release a new exciting IP. I want to tell journalists about it, but I'm not going to tell the journalist who's then going to spread it all over the internet because I want it to kind of be kept hush-hush for now. So what that means is they're going to get less review copies and less general trust in the industry. They're going to end up killing themselves. This was a huge shot in the foot, and I don't think they realize it.
Yeah, because it's also a marketing thing too. Because if your shit gets revealed early, it's like over time the hype goes away. And even if it's still there, it's still a marketing thing, and they're definitely going to lose a lot of trust for us. I definitely see that happening.
Oh, that trust is gone. As soon as he tweeted out that he'd stolen the domain name of and named the Lego game, all trust for Polygon will have just evaporated.
Nope.
What do you mean?
Plus the way he tweeted about it too, saying I was just trying to do something funny. Like you smarmy prick. Come on.
Voxter's going to have to take some step to remedy that.
They really are. They're going to need to fix that. That is a big problem for them. If they don't fix it and they don't fix it soon, it's going to be very detrimental at least towards their gaming side. Because I know Vox has other websites and stuff.
It also wouldn't be that big of a deal if, let's say, it was like some minor developer and stuff. But quite honestly, when it comes to Lego games make a shit ton of money. Not just because they're good for kids, but adults play them too. Like I myself play them a lot. So it's a very, very big industry. So they definitely have a lot more pull than like some indie developer would. And they're going to tell all their buddies, like, hey, don't trust Polygon, and it's really going to come back to haunt them bad.
Yeah, this is not a good thing for Polygon. They didn't just shoot themselves in the foot. They took a saw and chopped the entire leg off. That's sort of what we're looking at here.
They fuck with people that made a movie about Legos and have a song that was played at the Oscars. I'm like, that's the wrong person to fuck with. It really is.
Even I would think twice before messing with Lego.
Yeah.
I'm awesome, so I'll take them on. I only have the smoking gun news story. So if either of you have anything you want to share and anything you want to talk about, I'd suggest doing it now, and then after that we'll move on to the smoking gun story, which I think is going to be the longest one of all of them. So do either of you have anything you want to share? Anything you want to talk about? No, Victor.
Not really. No.
There might be something. Woozle News.
Oh, more Woozle News. Woozle News, for those of you who don't know, it's an this is the only second time we've done Woozle News. It's news regarding Brianna Wu, hence Woozle News.
Oh my god! I thought you said Weasel News from like GTA or something. I was like, what? Okay,
yeah, exactly. That's where I got the name.
Maybe Auntie, maybe not showed up. Called Emma Clarkson, who has publicly made some very long statements about her past work with said individual, and it seems to have not been very pleasant because Brianna Wu seems to be the type of person that doesn't do anything.
I did see those tweets on the Ralph retort. I thought those were pretty hysterical, honestly.
So hang on a sec. If she it sounds like she doesn't really do much when it comes to work, isn't she? She's credited as the only developer of Revolution 60 on the iOS
You've seen
store.
the pictures. You know that Brianna Wu isn't the only developer.
Well, yeah, but she's credited as the only developer, and that's the interesting thing.
Well, then those other female developers are being massively weak. Personally,
Or they might be being silenced.
Demand to be credited.
They might be being silenced, and that's something we can't presume to know. The situations of these other devs who worked on Revolution 60. So maybe if we could sort of put a bit of an outreach towards them and sort of say, hey, we know you did work for Brianna Wu on Revolution 60, and for what it sounds like, she didn't actually do that much work in the first place. Maybe come over to our side, come over to the dark side of the Force, because we have cookies, and we'll fight to get you credited on the game.
No.
If they want to be credited on the game.
I'm against that.
Really? Why?
Because Brianna Wu is not our target. Brianna Wu is a useful tool, but that's it. All we need to do is wait until he's done so much that the enemy backs off from Brianna Wu completely. And then we could just lampoon that they've been propping that person up for so long. That's all we really need, Brianna Wu.
The angle I was looking for was to show that even Brianna Wu, the poster child of Anti-Gaming, or at least the old poster child for Anti-Gaming, was involved in unethical behaviour, and that's the key bit. And I think that would single her out, and that would break the morale of a lot of Anti-Gamergate. Because remember, this is still a PR battle.
She's unethical in her own shit.
Gamers don't care about ethics. That's the point.
Yeah.
What in fact they want ethics to be bad.
Yeah, they want it to be bad, but if we were to show this to neutrals, for example, and say, hey, she took credit for the game when actually all these other women who are now talking for us are saying that they worked on it and have proof that they worked on it and she didn't, that would convince a lot of neutrals, like, actually, you know what, you might have a point.
The champion for fighting for the rights of women has been exploiting women for years, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah. I agree, like, because, sure, we can use, she is a useful tool, and then once you have people joining our side, then we just redirect them to the main target. She's a good recruiting tool, which is ironic in and of itself.
Exactly. And we need to exploit that.
As long as you've done it with a lot of man-hating, then it's okay.
Yeah, basically. As long as you hate men. Oh, well, as long as you hate women, you're allowed in Gamergate. That's the only rule here, so.
You also have to be white, and if you're a girl, pretend you're a sock puppet.
Oh, there's no girls on the internet. There's no girls on the internet.
It's a sausage fest, clearly.
There's never any girls on the internet.
Okay.
I'm gonna piss so many people off. I'm gonna get so much hate now.
The image of a treehouse with like a "No Girls Allowed" sign just popped into my head right now.
That is the internet. If you look at Google HQ, that's what it is. It's just. Oh man. But yeah, I think that's about it for Woozle News, unless there's anything else you guys would like to say on it. No? Okay then. Let's move on to the last topic then. The last thing I have here. Recently there was a video put out called Gamergate, I think it's The Smoking Gun, which, I finally managed to watch it all the way through. It's a pretty long watch, it's an hour long. I managed to watch it all the way through recently, and I can tell you, I was fairly shocked. I was fairly surprised that that this has been going on for quite so long.
I was only surprised by two things: A, that video, those videos even exist. B, that Mooch was in on it all along. That's what really surprised me.
Yes,
that he has been in on this 4 or 5 years ago.
The bit that shocked me the most was I think just the interviews. But for those who don't know, this was it was a mashup of a variety of different videos. At the start, seemed to be some form of I guess you could call it a conference of sorts, where people were basically talking about how they could take games and use them to influence real life and to push certain agendas along. In roughly,
Well,
I remember the woman in there. I think her name was Helen Kelleher. Oh, and Ellen Kelly. I think.
Kelly.
Ellen Kelly. I think that's what was her name.
Something Kelly. I don't remember.
Yeah, she spelled Kelly weird. I remember that. But she stated that it'd be great if we had a game that worked within the government system, and you got virtual money for voting, and you got more virtual money for voting for a specific political party, and my head nearly exploded. I was just like, you're gonna pay people to vote for a political party that agrees with you? I can't possibly see how that could be exploited. No. That can't possibly be used against the greater good of people and freedom. No, it's totally great. Nothing going wrong here.
To them, their party, whatever party they approve of, is the common good.
Ugh. Yeah, because people can't think for themselves. Fucking hell.
Heather Kelly, okay.
Oh, is it Heather Kelly? Yeah.
Heather Kelly.
At first I thought you were saying like Helen Keller. I'm just like, what?
Yeah, Helen Keller. She was in on this the whole time.
No, Heather Kelly.
She always was a quiet one, so.
Permission. I'm just going to go around and be snarky. You didn't believe it, but I knew this. A lot of the poll fags knew this. A lot of the more strong gamergators knew this. We all knew this all along, and you lot, I don't know, Gamergate moderates. Is that a thing?
Yeah. Yeah,
Moderate gamergators. You
Yeah.
all thought, nah, all this cultural Marxism is just a conspiracy theory. There is nothing going on. Well, you've got proof now.
I didn't think it was until I started reading into cultural Marxism, and then I was like, actually, I'm seeing a lot of the same tactics used. They might have a point.
I told you back then, and now it's proven.
Put my hands up. I done fucked up when it comes to that. Sorry, you were saying something? I cut across you just then. Were you about to say something? Or?
No, I wasn't saying anything.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, good, because I wasn't going to let you talk anyway.
Okay.
But yeah, I found that entire video quite surreal. I don't know, Victor, what you thought of it. I know, okay, you haven't seen it yet. I would definitely recommend you watch it. And in fact, I'm gonna grab it here and chuck it in the chat so you can have a look at it later, because it's definitely it's a hard thing to watch because they use a lot of academic language, but it's definitely worth a watch. Anyway, even just the interviews partway through. Yes,
Reading their papers helps get into their
Yes.
very quickly.
It helps you get into the head, and in fact, I'm going to chuck it on the video comments as well, so anyone listening can also have a look. If you have no idea what we're talking about, watch. I'll post this, and everyone will leave.
My suspicion has always been, not always been, actually, it took quite a while for me, is that this Jamin War guy is sort of their backup Anita Sarkeesian. You know, in case Anita Sarkeesian gets exposed completely, that he just takes over where she leaves off.
Oh yeah, shout out to Ian. Apparently he really loves Woozle News. I just saw it in the comments then.
What is Ian doing here?
He's just in the comments on YouTube. He must be listening.
I'll have to look at those, actually, the comments.
Oh, there's only three of them.
Yeah, I see it. Woozle News.
I love it. It's just a slow degradation of the man. He's just like, oh, I'm really enjoying listening to this. Next comment, Woozle News. ... He's had enough. He's out. He's done. Anyway, I've posted the video there, so
Thing.
now you guys can have a look at that.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll put that in my watch later thing.
Oh yeah, dude.
Okay,
Definitely.
now I'm seeing the comments.
Wait, hang on a sec. Watch later thing. You
That's
actually
pretty
use that? People use the watch later.
Occasionally I do because I'm busy with stuff, so I'll put like documentaries and shit in there. Mostly history stuff because I'm a history nerd, but basically I'll put that in there.
Yeah. That you're the first person I've ever met who used the watch later feature. So well done. You're the first person I've ever met who uses it. You are unique. See, everyone's special in their own little way.
Everyone's a little snowflake.
Everyone is a little snowflake. Some snowflakes are fatter and more obnoxious than others.
Jesus Christ. Again, you can just hear Tumblr sharpening the pitchforks. God.
Trust me, Tumblr don't like me. Tumblr don't like me.
Tumblr don't like anybody.
Yeah, unless you're an otherkin fox, transgendered.
Okay, what does cis mean? I have still not figured that out after all this time. Does that mean
You know how transsexuals are a bit of an other thing, but they hate the thought of being different. So they invented this cis word for those who are not transsexuals.
Huh. I thought it was the Confederacy of International States, or whatever it is.
That's what I remember it being.
In Star Wars. God,
yeah, it's supposed to be this gender.
I'm losing so much nerd cred right here. I made a Star Wars reference.
It's less
but
about
I
nerd
failed
cred
at and said it was from Star Trek. I'm sorry, nerds out there. Good
Oh
God.
my God, you gotta get crucified so fucking bad.
I'll just go now and hang up my brown coat. Just never wear it again.
He's gonna get jumped in a parking lot by a bunch of dudes with lightsabers. Just start beating the shit out of him.
I've got to go now and burn my fedora. I'm not allowed to wear it again. I'm sorry.
Scalp his neckbeard off. Yeah, he's done.
Scalp my neckbeard. Yeah. Hang it around your neck. That's how it works.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, do you guys think that that if Zoe Quinn and all that bullshit hadn't have happened, if they'd have been successful in this? Because
What do you mean?
like in the cultural Marxism sort of thing, because they seem to have had it all figured out, and at least it looks to me like they were rushing it out once the conspiracy happened. They were sort of panicking.
Zoe Quinn was just tagging along. She's the weak link.
But she uncovered all this unethical stuff that would have screwed up the cultural Marxist agenda that they were pushing. I can't help but feel that this was something they were planning, and due to Zoe Quinn and all this unethical behaviour coming out, that they had to rush it forward.
Well, that's probably why the 10 articles happened.
I think that's why.
But that before the Zoe Quinn thing. The Zoe Quinn thing is just the thing with she's been involved in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And all these unethical things, they're conspiracies, but by definition as well. And the thing with a conspiracy is the more people are involved, the sooner someone is going to fuck up, and then people find out.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, knowing the nature of the internet, I feel like even if they were successful, at some point something was gonna come out because nothing stays hidden forever.
And eventually people find out, and then it's public knowledge.
Yeah, I think it's just an itching feeling. I might be completely wrong, but
the only differing opinion I might have is that if no one had found out initially, how different the effect of Gamergate might or might not have been. That's the only thing I would wonder, honestly.
The only difference, the only thing the only problem that were people that were really in on this cultural Marxism thing, apparently, probably, maybe, are the people in those videos, the academia, the sociology, critical theory, women's studies academia, and some of the PR people. The silver string types.
Yeah. Just real quick, I just noticed we've had a bit of a correction. Apparently, cisgender, the word cis, was not invented by Tumblr. It apparently was a thing years ago, decades ago. It's just we've had a sudden resurgence of the word due to Tumblr and its bullshit.
That doesn't surprise me. Yeah.
To me, it still sounds like just an artificial, an excuse to try and alienate people that are transsexuals.
It
Used
does
by people
kind
that
of,
probably
doesn't it?
aren't even transsexuals themselves.
It is kind of like feel like that, doesn't it? Also, cis is just a terrible word.
It is. Yeah, it is a dumb word.
Yeah, I think that about covers it. I mean, I know we did a bit of a shorter show, but unless we have anything else to talk about on the topic of a smoking gun,
Wasn't there a thing?
a thing?
A thing? Yes, I thought there was a thing. Oh, Obama, the regular show. Ah, Ken Levine. Ken Levine was a thing.
Ken Levine. What has he done?
Well, Ken Levine has had an interview that made a lot of social justice warriors get very angry at him. Who knows?
Really?
Who knows what comes of this? Well, he basically gave an interview on how he, in which he went into how he doesn't think you should create a character from a specific demographic, but instead just focus on what that character's motive and role is, and go from there. You know, that the demographic is not important with a fictional character, and that made a lot of antis very angry.
I saw the YouTube video.
They could not believe what they were.
I saw that too, actually. Yeah.
I saw it, as in I just saw the thumbnail. I didn't actually click into it. I saw that he'd done an interview about characters. I meant to watch it, but never got around to. So he's pissed off a lot of SJWs with that, apparently. Huh. Cool.
I mean, it makes sense. Like, if you have a game that's about 16th century Japan, you're not gonna have any black people. It doesn't, like, why, if you put it in there, it makes no sense.
Why not? You're racist.
Yes. What if there's a black guy that came all the way from Africa?
If you can find records of it and prove it, then sure, go for it. But there's a reason. That's also why most animes don't have black people in it, because it's around that time period. There's no reason to have one. I know Tumblr's gonna paint me as a horrible racist, but I don't give a fuck, because that's just what it is. I mean,
Yeah. Well,
I'm gonna have a guy with an Uzi in the Renaissance period. Okay, sure, but that's
You're already a racist because you don't acknowledge other kin, and you're already a transphobe because you don't acknowledge.
That's true. I'm a horrible. I hate goblins. Absolutely, they steal my gold all the time. Fuck you, goblins.
Goddamn goblinkin. But no. If generally speaking, when it comes to Tumblr, if your skin is white, congratulations, you're a racist.
Well, I'm a ghost, so.
Unless you're trans black, in which case you're okay.
Trans.
Is that
Come on, let's stay within the.
That is a thing.
The correct parameters. The trans nigger.
Yeah, I can't say that word because it makes me feel uncomfortable. It just.
You've got to get
like
this cultural Marxism out of your. Not cultural. You've got to get this political correctness out of your.
It's okay if a cat in a suit does it.
I need to watch more. I need to watch more Quentin Tarantino films. That's what I gotta do. He does like that word.
Yeah, he does.
You've got to be more on the chans.
I avoid those places out. They are the anus of the internet.
Yeah, they really are. What I remember, someone asked me what is 4chan and what is 8chan, and I basically said, right, 4chan is the asshole of the universe, and 8chan is the light bum fluff around the asshole of the universe. It's slightly better, but it's still.
That's generally a thing that we need to change in the future, and that's the perception of the chans, because that is what the media currently and always had wanted you to think of the chans, but that is actually not true. If anything, you could even argue that the internet is sick and the chans are the cure.
I mean, just spend a day on B and tell me different. That's what their perception is. It is the Wild West when it comes to a lot of things, but there is some good. But it's
Then why of all places do you go to B? You know.
Listen. Because that's what the newsman told me was horrible, and they were like hackers on steroids, and I wanted to see the truth. And instead, I learned what Lemon Party is. So
B is the second worst place on the entire internet.
What's the first worst place?
It's a sub forum on something awful.
Oh, I would have thought you
Fuck
said
you
Tumblr.
and die.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Thinking
Tumblr's not too bad. Tumblr's like, it has a percentage of the SJWs, but also has like art and porn and a bunch of other stuff. So, I mean, Tumblr has an identity crisis,
Tumblr
really.
is currently more or less a bit of a battleground. That's the thing.
Tumblr now is how Twitter used to be when this all started out, I think. Because Tumblr used to be a bit of a battleground, but I mean, Gamergate's now stomping all over them on Twitter.
The thing is, Tumblr was, I guess metaphorically you could say that NeoGAF is the fortress of the social justice warriors, and Tumblr is sort of the agricultural land around it.
Look
and
at these
there's
fields.
Battles being fought in those lands.
Look at these fields. Look how barren they are.
The non-SJWs have invaded.
I know that we tried to like do a push for Tumblr during was it OP Firefly, but it didn't go that well. A lot of people.
What do you mean it didn't go that well? It was a full success.
Well, it was. It's just the people on Tumblr didn't have that much staying power. A lot of them. It was a huge success when it comes to Twitter. I seem to find.
We cleansed the tags. You know, we pushed away a lot of the propaganda that was because before Firefly, the propaganda level on Tumblr was just over 9,000. It was just if any outlet would write something, regardless of how stupid, regardless of how far away from reality, people on Tumblr would repeat it over and over and over like it's fact.
They would just lap it up.
That's not the case anymore. They're in check. They're being kept in check at all times, and more people are getting eerily silent.
Now that's one thing I have noticed. People are starting to disappear and get more silent. And one thing I have definitely a big time noticed that did make me laugh is it's just more of a personal victory, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. A Man in Black recently decided to go after the Color Cabal. Color Cabal being a pro Gamergate group that I'm part of. That basically just take the piss out of the Man in Black. We like parodied his name, but we're like the moderates of Gamergate, and he came after us. He wasn't too happy about it, calling us. Well, I believe what he actually said was second grade clones, and then they tried to spam the Color Cabal hashtag with pictures of clones.
By the way, I told a lot of people, including you, in early Gamergate times, that a Man in Black was one of the one of the extremely obvious shills, you know, who obviously isn't trolling, who obviously isn't earnest, who obviously has some dog in the fight.
Yes.
And well, look at that. Months later, look at that. He reveals his true colors. He's a writer at Boing Boing.
Really? A Man in Black writes at Boing Boing?
Apparently.
Okay. Well, for our guest who probably doesn't know, Boing Boing, as a company, owns Offworld. Offworld is.
I know what Offworld is. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. That. So.
Bigger than that. Boing Boing is the outlet of Brandon Boyer. And Brandon Boyer is the chairman of the IGF. The IGF is a huge racketeering effort to promote the games that already exist at the expense of paid entrants who have no chance at winning.
Yep.
All part of a huge corrupt I'd say a corrupt system almost. It is a system that works behind this that UBM makes a lot of money with.
It's It's fairly something. I had no idea he wrote there. I'm sorry, my brain is right now is trying to process that information.
But if you go to his Twitter, that's what his description says by now.
Oh,
But
has he changed it? I've not checked him out.
It was obvious he has some very big financial interest in Gamergate not existing from the way he was acting from the start.
It's also interesting you said you're part of the moderates, because one of the first things I noticed when I first kind of got into Gamergate was there's people that like kind of wanted to reform things, and then there's people that were like just wanted to like burn everything to the ground and just do nothing. And like I never seen and understood like if there's a general goal besides ethics in journalism, in addition to that, like what's the after plan? That's what was concerned to me about it. Like, sure, you get things to reform, but do you do anything afterwards, or you just destroy everything?
The thing is, Gamergate is no matter how people see it, it's two things at once. It's getting SockJust out of gaming, this whole political agenda pushing in at the expense of creative freedom in the video games, and it's fighting against corruption in the gaming industry, and it goes hand in hand with each other, because those people that are these kinds of ideologues, through the political ideology, they have something in common that they then use to motivate themselves to collude with each other, to promote corruption, and it gives them an excuse to be corrupt, which allows them to stand not as bad looking in the eyes of others, and through this, it is very lucrative to have this kind of belief system, and through that, SockJust and corruption go hand in hand in the industry, and Gamergate is pretty much about both. And everyone, of course, those who just want the corruption to go away, more or less, sooner or later have to get the SockJust out, and vice versa. Those who want the SockJust out have to get the corruption out of the way, because the corruption is the modus operandi that they promote that they pursue this agenda pushing. And there is of course more moderate Gamergators who are more about PR and how what we look like in the eyes of the people, and
I told that line a little bit.
And there's more moderate Gamergators in terms of that they just want the gaming industry to clean out its act. Then there's of course the more hardcore Gamergators, which are on one hand are in it for pushing out the SockJust again, and the more hard ones are the ones that really do get down to the digging and find all this and keep finding how deep the rabbit hole goes, because they want the rabbit hole to go away.
I'm titled a bit of two lines. I think we should keep digging. I do believe social justice should be removed from gaming. It never had a place here, but at the same time, I do care about PR, and I don't mean that in a sort of we need to be careful what jokes we say. We need to be all politically correct, but just like generally, when you're talking to people, be polite and stuff. Little things like that, which make a big difference.
And the thing is, I'm more of the hardcore kind.
You're definitely more extreme.
Because for instance, acting within the politically correct, I can understand its benefits in a very limited degree, but then again, once you start doing that, you're playing by the rules that the enemy sets, and I find this a very dangerous route to go down.
Absolutely.
But the PR that I care about mostly is just generally being polite in a discussion or in a debate with somebody. Being polite, don't make it personal, and debate them properly with facts and logic and reason. Because what will happen then is they will resort to emotions and shit throwing and insulting you, and at that point you've already won. They will find it much more frustrating if you come at them very politely, because then what are they going to say? Well, look at this woman hater who wished me a nice day. What?
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe I'm
some people
wrong.
you just aren't going to convert anyways, but it doesn't
Oh,
mean
yeah.
like you know
No, some
just go
people.
all at them. You know.
When you debate someone, there's another thing you got to remember: is you're not debating for the person in front of you. The person in front of you has made up their mind. They're not going to
Exactly.
change their mind. You're debating for the audience. You're debating for average Joe who happens upon Twitter or Tumblr or Facebook or wherever you're having the discussion, and happens to see the debate going on and decides to read it. You're doing it for that guy who has no idea what you're talking about and he's new to the whole concept. That's who you're debating for.
Yeah.
That's what I would say. So, I mean, hell, if you're in private with a bunch of other gay guys, make as many, horrible jokes as you want. I'm
Well,
never going to be for restricting that. It's just when you're talking to the opposition.
Looked it up again. His Twitter description actually by now reads guerrilla cultural critic and mercenary writer, written for Boing Boing and The Guardian, and your site tool SJ friendly, but not safe space. Trigger warning all around.
I did see the fact that he's written for the Guardian as well, apparently.
So he has a financial dog in the fight.
Mm.
If those news outlets go down, he goes down with them.
Mm.
God.
Ian's just spamming the comments.
What's he saying now?
Why doesn't he?
I guess I'll bring it back up again. Thanks, Ian. You're the best. Love you.
Sure.
He's still listening to the stream.
Yeah, he's still listening. We're because we put out quality content, or as Crendor would put it, quality non-content.
last one.
Serious, like good stuff I'm enjoying is Woozle News, like and The Guardian, Men in Black writes for The Guardian too. I'm listening, brilliant stuff. I shall see how much more I can endure.
It's good. It's so good. I just so much I can endure. How much I can put up with this before the drink just doesn't help anymore. It no longer helps with the numbness. I think we just seem to be rambling, and there doesn't seem to be much else that's happened. Do you guys want to leave it there? I mean, unless anyone has anything else they want to bring up and talk about?
Unfortunately, no.
No? Alright, well, I would encourage everyone to go out, check out Smoking Gun. And yeah, that's about it. I'm just going to call you Akka because I can't pronounce the full fucking name.
It's Mashoxy.
Mashoxy. Alright, we'll go with Mashoxy.
Awesome.
If people want to find you on the internet, are they able to? And if so, where? If they want to hear
On Facebook, I am part of the Ethical Gamergate group. My full name is Brandon Bongard, so if you want to look me up there, I sometimes frequent that place. But
Okay.
I'm not on Twitter or anything, so and I don't have a YouTube channel, but I don't really post anything, so.
Okay, well, that's where you can find him. Victor, where can people find you, as per usual?
Everywhere.
What name are you under so people can look you up?
Well, the Twitter handle is MR Blanchard, and the rest is the same name as here. It's the same name everywhere.
Yeah. And you can find me at a man in maroon on Twitter. Other than that, you'll never find me because I am a secret agent. Alright, goodbye. Well, you'll also find me on this channel, I guess. I should probably let you know that too. Alright, peace out from everyone listening. Goodbye and thank you for coming on. What was your name? Mavaria? That's something like that.
I will come over there and punch you in the face. No, just.
I'm a horrible human being, and I fully accept that. I'm shit with names.
This is a common social cancer that we need to cure in the future. You know,
names.
Misspelling and mispronouncing names is not a criminal offense, and it should not be treated like.
Okay, look, it is Mashoxy. It's
Mashoxy.
It's the same as my gamer tag, which is also where you can find me on live too. So.
Cool.
That's.
Go spam him with friend requests online, people.
Please do. I'm very lonely.
go do that, people. Yeah, it was great having you on, mate.
Hey. All right.
Goodbye to everyone. Peace out.